Out of the forest came several others on horses. Jordan guessed they were ignorantes. They were dressed in dirty, food-stained clothes and tattered shirts. On their heads, they wore some kind of helmet with big padded ears. They stared at large, pointy spears They had large, pointy spears pointed at the Polites and Jordan. Roar! Well. What do we have here? Bellowed the largest and fattest ignorantee, 'cause being fat is rude. Ugly people are fat, and being ugly is rude. That's why all the ignorantes are ugly in comparison to the polites, 'cause ignorantes are fat and ugly, and being ugly is rude. If it isn't the famous Pleasem, thank you, and the biggest prize, Elderon. You guys have caused us quite a bit of trouble. Elderon replied angrily. Big Burper, you slime. You and your foul queen will never take Mannerland. Why are you so close to Politeville? King Pardon will surely cast his spells and drive you away. Big Burpa smiled smugly. She smiled smugly. Not anymore. Oh, wait, shit. Not anymore, Elderon. We figured out a way to defeat the magic, and that has kept us away from Politeville all this time. It's just a matter of time before we rule Mannerland, or soon to be called the Land of Ignorance. Then we can spread bad manners all over the world. Hey, boss! Hey, boss! What do we do with this brat? Shouted one of the Big Burpa's guards. Fuck off. Let me go, you ugly pid. Pid. Let me go, you ugly pig. I'm rude just like you guys, said Jordan. These dopes drag me away from my world to try and make me polite. Yeah. Well, that's late. I need to He's just a little boy. His name is Jordan. Why do you hate Jordan? He's just like you. He's just like you. A boy who really knows how to be rude. Why bother with all that manner stuff anyways? What good does it do? Big Burpa continued. Come with us to the city of Ignorandum, and we'll teach you how to be a really, really, really rude ruderson. We used to do it until Elderon destroyed our ability to make our portal appear. Guards, Stinky Stan and Bonnie Mouthpiece, tie up the others and march them to Ignorandum. Throw them into the smelly sock jail. Don't forget to put gags on their mouths so they can't speak. They're polite spells. Jordan thought it was odd when the Ignorantes spoke. They were very loud. While talking, they seemed to use a type of sign language with each other. They all were very intently at your mouth when you were speaking, because they're all deaf. Because being deaf is rude. Being rude is deaf. And being deaf is rude. That's why all the Ignorantes are fat, smelly, unpleasant looking, and deaf. Because all of those things are very rude. Jordan rode with Big Burpa on his smelly horse, all the way to Ignorandum. Big Burpa smelled like sour milk and cheese. Sour milk and cheese. Sour milk and cheese. Jordan let out some loud farts. And some loud burps too on the trip there, and never said excuse me once. Big Burpa would just turn his head from time to time and wrinkle his nose. For some reason, he didn't seem to hear the farts. They approached the shabby-looking village of Ignorandum. There was no large wall around this village, mainly because no one was trying to get in. The houses were falling apart. Dogs and cats ran wild on the dirty streets. In the center of the city was a brown brick building that looked kind of like a castle. A brown brick building that looked kind of like a castle. So. Shit, I lost my precious emerald. Let me suck it back up off this towel. Oh, I lost it again. Let me suck it back up. Big Burpa stopped. Big Burpa stopped at the brown brick building and took Jordan off the horse. He was taken to a large dining hall where a scraggly-looking old hag with a beat-up crown was stuffing her face with food because, as I mentioned before, all the rude ones in the story are fat pigs. Except Mr. Pass the Butter. But that's because he's nice. And he owns a house. And he has a house.
Where he feeds the kids and takes them in and feeds them. It doesn't do anything else. The others were taken down some stairs with a sign at the doorway that read, smelly sock jail. There was a sign at a doorway in this building and it said, smelly sock jail.
Hey there, Queenie. I've got a surprise for you,
said Big Burpa as he removed his helmet with the big padded ears.
I got us a new recruit for the guard. This kid has some great promise. Rudest one I've seen in years.
Without looking up at the queen's flies. Without looking up, the queen snorted back. Yeah, who cares? Get him a uniform. If he's that bad, he won't require any training.
I've got another surprise, though. Even better,
gloated Big Burpa.
I've captured Please Him and Thank You. Best of all, I've captured Elderon too.
This time, I can't focus. Shit. Where am I? Where am I? Where, who, where, who, where's my Sharpie marker? I can't do this without my Sharpie marker. Oh. Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah. Very good. Holy fuck! This time, Queen Rudion looked up. As stupid as you are sometimes, Big Mama. This has to be your biggest capture ever. Did you put them in the new soundproof jail?
Of course. Did you think I was born yesterday?
Snapped Big Burpa. Green Rudion stared at Big Burpa and just smiled an awful, crooked smile. Our plans to slowly take over Mannerland and destroy manners are working, said Queen Rudion. With Elderon out of the way and unable to bring little bats here. Over time, manners will be completely forgotten.
Right on, your royal rudeness.
Laughed Big Burpa.
Now get that brat in a uniform. We're gonna need all the soldiers we can to storm the walls of Politeville. Politeville.
Jordan had to do something quick. It was quick. What? Jordan had to do something quick so he could try and get away and free the three Polites. He had to warn the others that the Ignorantes were gonna be able to get through the magic force field around Politeville and enter the city. Lost my place. Jordan said to them,
Thank you very much, Queen Rudion. I really can't wait to join the guard. You and Big Burpa are the best.
Jordan blurted out. At those words, Queen Rudion let out a loud shriek. And fell to the floor, clasping her ears in pain. When Jordan looked around the room, all the Ignorantes were on the floor, grabbing their ears in pain.
Ah! 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 Ah!
Big Burpa managed a few raspy words.
What are you doing? Don't say those words.
The big helmets with the padded ears now made sense. That's why Big Burpa didn't seem to hear Jordan's farting on the ride. It also explained the soundproof jail cells. Polite words caused pain to the Ignorantes' ears. That's what kept them from getting too close to Politeville. The Polites were using their manners all day without thinking about it. Whenever the Ignorantes got close to their village, city, they heard the words and instantly were in pain. They're allergic to being nice.
So they're autistic too.
Jordan now knew what to do and began to shout loudly and proudly, "Girl!"
Excuse me, Big Burpa. Pardon me for being so rude. Please let me help you in any way I can. I'm so sorry.
With this last loud outburst, almost all the Ignorantes in the Great Hall had either passed out from the pain or were blubbering masses on the floor. Jordan ran from the hall. Every time he passed an Ignorante, he yelled out every polite word he could remember. They fell down instantly. No one was wearing the protective helmets inside their own village. Getting into the smelly sock jail was no problem. The guards were passing out left, right, and center from Jordan's melody of good manners. Elderon and the others were packed in a large cell with thick glass. Jordan took the keys hanging by the cell and opened the door. Elderon had a shocked look on his face and began to stammer. How the heck? Jordan cut him off.
I don't have time to explain. We must get out of here before the Ignorantes wake up. Because
they all snuck out a back door and grabbed some horses out of a stable. Theft. They rode out of the ignorandum as fast as I can go. The Pleiades and Jordan arrived at the walls to Politeville. Once inside, Elderon began to quiz Jordan. How did you do it? How did you make the ignorantes pass out? Jordan began to explain. Well, it kind of happened by accident. I was getting used to using my manners again, and some of it just popped out. I had to pretend to be rude so that the ignorantes would trust me. They wanted me to become part of King Rudion's ignorance patrol and help them get the good book from King Pardon. When I said thank you, they grabbed their ears in pain. Ouch! Ouch! Jordan then went on to explain the rest of what we had figured out from Ignorandum. The good book wasn't really a spell book. The ignorantes were just allergic to manners because they hadn't heard them for so long. It made their ears hurt and made them feel funny inside. Oh man, they felt funny. Elderon replied, Jordan, you saved Mannerland. Please and thank you. Noticed not too long ago that the ignorantes were wearing those big padded helmets. That's how they come so close to Politeville. They must have figured it out. Elderon and Jordan walked a short distance to the very center of Politeville. There stood a large castle with beautiful trees and grass surrounding it. Come, Jordan. I think it's time you met King Pardon, said Elderon. Elderon took Jordan into a great hall. At the very end of the room sat many people at a big table talking to each other. Elderon and Jordan had to sit at the table where a very pleasant-looking man with a long beard in the crowd sat. King Pardon. It's a pleasure to meet you, said Jordan. Jordan Riplin. You have saved Mannerland from certain doom, replied King Pardon. We never knew why they were able to defeat the ignorantes. We thought it was a magical force that prevented them from either entering here or keeping them far, far away. I guess in a way, using good manners is a magical force. Elderon beamed at Jordan, and King Pardon continued. I grant you, Jordan Riplin, our highest honor, the official Mannerland Code of Manners Medallion. King Pardon then presented Jordan with a beautiful silver coin. Much like this one I have here. It had a picture of Table Manners Mountain on one side, and King Pardon on the other. He slipped it in his pants pocket. Come, Jordan, we must go. It's time we head back to your world, said Elderon. With that, the big, bright light of the time portal appeared. Jordan turned to Elderon. Thank you, Elderon. I've learned so much. I'm glad you found your manners again. But your learning has just begun. Remember that little white lie you told when you launched your homework last week? Smiled Elderon. Expect another visitor soon. His name is no more a fibs, and his specialty is lies. Good luck! Jordan's smile fell at that news, and the bright light rose up all around him, and then everything went dark. Jordan awoke in his bed. His clothes were still on, but a blanket had been placed over him. He sat straight up in bed, like this. It must have been a dream, but it felt so real. Jordan raced downstairs, and his parents were sitting at the table eating breakfast. Mom, Dad, I'm so sorry for how I behaved last night. I know I should be punished for being so rude, Jordan said to his parents. Jordan sat at the table and ate his breakfast. His mom and dad were stunned by the manners he was using. They were sure aliens had come and replaced their son during the night. Jordan got up from the table and went upstairs before his parents could get any words out. He was going to change his clothes from yesterday and get ready for school. He took off his jeans and was going to put them in the laundry hamper when something fell out of his pocket. Jordan thought it was a quarter and picked it up. His mouth fell open as he looked at the silver coin with the picture of Table Manners Mountain on the front and King Guy on the back. No more of Fibs was going to be visiting him very soon. The End by Christopher Mackenzie Glover. And that's the end of Mannerland. I hope you really liked it. That's the end of Mannerland, and I hope it was good. Did you like my Mannerland? It's the story that I found for you. Won't you be my Jordan and you'll act really nice? Give me a like, give a subscribe, follow me and share along. Just go to my social media and tell me another song. I love Mannerland. It's the best story ever. You love Mannerland. It makes you feel more clever. I love Mannerland and I love it 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 and thank you for the Mannerland. It made me smarter and cool. Thank me for Mannerland. I'm a better Jordan tool. I met Elderon today, and I met Mr. Jordan, and I met Mr. Jordan too, and I fed him a lot and took a poo. I met the Jordan, and I made him better guy, and I defeated all the evil ignorantes. Die! I am Elderon, and I will come to you as well. If you don't have good manners, then you're sure to go to hell. And with that, we've reached the end of our wonderful tale. I hope you all learned and laughed and learned better more. I'm going to have to say goodbye to you guys now. Just remember, always be polite and use your manners, or you might end up meeting old Big Burpa. Even worse, getting the Mr. Snooty treatment.
Yes.